Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Friday, January 23rd, 2026. A call for a fire in Landers last night led to one dead body and one arrest. At around 11:50 p.m. Thursday night, San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies and San Bernardino County fire crews responded to a call of a fire near the intersection of Sunway Drive and Ripon Avenue in Landers. The Sheriff's Department described the incident as a house fire. One person was found dead at the scene. Their cause of death has not been revealed, and it is unknown if they died in the fire. The name of the deceased has not yet been released by the Sheriff's Coroner Division. No one else was reported injured in the fire. One person was arrested at the scene. Robert Moreno, a 24-year-old resident of 29 Palms, was arrested for an outstanding warrant related to an incident of assault on October 24th. He is being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $40,000 bail. The Sheriff's Department says that County Fire is investigating the cause of the fire. Z107.7 has reached out to San Bernardino County Fire for additional details. We will update this story as we learn more. An arrest was made in 29 Palms last week by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Gang and Narcotics Division. Between January 12th and January 18th, the Sheriff's Department served 21 search warrants related to gang members and convicted felons throughout San Bernardino County, with an emphasis last week on the Mojave Desert area. One of those warrants was served in 29 Palms. A representative of the Sheriff's Department said that more specific information about arrests made as part of Operation Consequences could not be shared due to possible connections to gangs, narcotics, and future investigations. In the last week, Operation Consequences led to 63 felony arrests and seized 76 firearms, including 2 unserialized ghost guns and more than 1 pound of suspected methamphetamine. On Thursday, hundreds of volunteers participated countywide in the annual point-in-time count, which quantifies and contacts the number of unhoused people in a community. The point-in-time count collects data about unhoused people, which is used to allocate resources throughout the year. One day every January, volunteers hit the streets to survey their community and identify who, how many, and where people are living on the streets. This year, volunteer efforts were bolstered by additional resources provided by San Bernardino County, including a mobile team that was deployed to serve the needs of the unhoused community by providing emergency housing, temporary shelter, and supportive services. The county's Office of Homeless Services expanded how it distributes information to volunteers by establishing a story map that includes details on the count, volunteer training schedules, instructional videos, a mobile app, and a map of deployment sites. Results from Thursday's count will be released later this year. The 2025 point-in-time count reported that 3,821 individuals were experiencing sheltered and unsheltered homelessness in San Bernardino County, which indicated a 10.2% decrease in homelessness from 2024. At any time, there are insects all around you, even if you don't notice most of them. A free presentation at the High Desert Nature Museum tomorrow by an insect scientist will be revealing the tricks they use to stay hidden. Reporter Robert Hayden has more.
It's easy being at the top of the food chain, but imagine being on the bottom. Insects make it work thanks to some clever strategies. High desert residents may occasionally have a visit from a phasmid, more popularly known as a walking stick. That's just one of the tactics that insects use to avoid becoming food for predators. The High Desert Nature Museum is hosting a lecture this Saturday by entomologist Scott Hucox about those tactics and the strategies insects use to hide in plain sight. The presentation will blend visuals with real-world examples and accessible science to reveal how insects have become nature's masters of disguise. The event begins at 2 o'clock on Saturday and registration isn't required, but seating is limited. It takes place at the High Desert Nature Museum right down by Town Hall in Yucca Valley. For more information, head to highdesertnaturemuseum.org. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Rainbow Stew has a full day of programming set for tomorrow. First up, the High Desert Beekeepers Association meets for their monthly gathering. The topic for January is queen cells by the thousands, presented by Steve Clifford, president of the British Columbia Honey Producers Association. They will also discuss beekeeping goals for the new year. They ask that you bring your bee stories and adventures to share. The meeting begins at noon. At 1 p.m., herbalist Charles Shamhart holds a workshop on growing microbes for a healthy garden and ecosystem. That workshop begins at 1 p.m. with a suggested donation of $10. And at 2 p.m., Shamhart will shift gears and teach a class focused on Gnostic Christian teachers called Stepping Off the Reincarnation Wheel. All of these events are happening tomorrow at Rainbow Stew, located at 55509 29 Palms Highway in Old Town, Yucca Valley. Theater 29 is back with its first production of 2026, and it opened last weekend. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with her review of Marjorie Prime.
I had the pleasure of attending the opening weekend of Theater 29's production of Marjorie Prime, directed by Eddie A. Tucker. The 2015 play by Jordan Harrison was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, with several successful runs around the world before making its Broadway debut in 2025. Set in the mid-21st century, it explores the crosshairs between memory, family, and technology. The aging Marjorie struggles to remember elements of the life she lived. She seeks companionship by way of Walter Prime, a specimen of artificial intelligence designed to interact as her late husband. Despite having a slim cast of 4, the production of Marjorie Prime was bolstered with an impressive set of skilled local actors. Wendy Cohen played the title role convincingly as a beloved yet flawed woman navigating conflicts between her past and current state of mind. Marjorie's caretaker is her daughter Tess, played by Sherry Ann Greer, whose somewhat prickly personality is anchored in skepticism of technology and mortality. Both actresses portrayed these strained mother-daughter dynamics with bittersweet honesty. Kurt Schaupner was charming as Tess's husband John, whose role as an optimist aided both women in their reluctance to embrace reality. His removal from family trauma was exemplified in the line that he, quote, had a little more room when comforting his mother-in-law, a relatable sentiment for those caretaking and guiding through generational shifts. The incredibly lifelike role of Walter Prime was played by Kevin A. Hales, who artfully walked the line of portraying an artificial intelligence specimen rich with memory but devoid of authentic human emotion. The set and costumes of Marjorie Prime were modern and modest. The entirety of the play takes place in a home living room, thoughtfully detailed with pastel ceramics, kitschy knickknacks, and a blanket draped over the sitting chair of its title character. These elements set a simple stage on which complicated family dynamics could unfold unfettered. The slightly off-center waiting room in which the Primes would remain until called accentuated the ever-looming presence of not only the artificial intelligence roles, but in turn, arresting memories. Tucker's production of the drama Marjorie Prime is a thought-provoking exploration of family dynamics as science progresses along with time. In a world that feels increasingly heavy under the weight of artificial intelligence, its themes of aging, technology, and memory as they conflict with love strike as ever poignant. Marjorie Prime continues its run at Theater 29 through February 1st. Performances run at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday evening and at 2:30 p.m. on Sunday. Tickets are available for purchase at theater29.org or by calling the Theater 29 box office at 760-361-4151. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Adeline J. Wells.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.